wherever you might be. We'll just give it a minute or so for everyone to log in and jump onto this webinar, and then we'll get going. Okay, seems like the numbers are still ticking up, but I think let's get going. Last time we ran out of time way too quickly with everything that we wanted to cover. So again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. Thanks for making time to join us for this power hour for actually March, but just being on the 2nd of April for some logistical reasons. We appreciate your time. This will be the Back to Basics Part 2. We had a lot of questions that we didn't get to in the first one, and there were some other tips and tricks and stuff that we realized we actually wanted to show that we didn't get around to. So for today, it will be myself, Albert Willifee, Technical Product Manager, and with me again is Ben Messer, Product Manager, and Charlie Sorg as well, Product Manager. Guys, thanks for joining us today again. We appreciate having you here. Any introductory words on your guys' side? All good? All good.
Good morning and afternoon. Glad you can join.
Thanks. Let's jump into a few slides. We're not going to spend too much time on slides, and we jump into TBC and show you more of what TBC can do and where to find stuff. We'll just run through a few of the TBC UI UX stuff again, some of the things that we got asked again as we went through the Q&A from last time. We'll just circle back to a few of those things, and then we'll delve into one or two extra things that we realized we didn't get around to in the first one. So let's jump into that. Just before we get going, please use the QA section in your Zoom. So just have a look. You'll see there is a chat option. We don't monitor that as much as we do the Q&A section. And the Q&A section, we also have access to once the webinar is done. So we can always reach out to you afterwards if there's anything that we need to check in with, or if it's something we couldn't answer on the call, we will get there. So please have a look at your Zoom toolbar and find the Q&A part if you want to ask any questions. Everyone can see that, and obviously the answers will also be there for everyone to witness. So please use that for the webinar. Good. Let's quickly run through a few of the slides, and then we'll get into TBC itself. Just wanted to quickly reiterate again, options is obviously the first place where you start if you've got TBC installed for the first time and you want to have a look at the settings. This is the options display part. I think the one that we always highlight is over here, use large icons for quick access toolbar. Let's see if I can remember how to switch on my laser. Nope, not today. I'll do that next time. No, I can actually do it, yeah. Turn on laser pointer. There we go. There it is. So there is your use large icons for quick access toolbar. So if you find that the icons at the top of your toolbar is very small, that's a quick and easy way to just enlarge them and make them much bigger for you to utilize in your TBC. Next one is just the point clouds. I just want to reiterate this as well. If you're using point clouds, always good to make sure your rendering memory cache is set to half of what is allowed. So TBC default always starts at 8 gigs of your allowable memory that you have. If you want to make sure that half of what you have available, that's the limitation at the moment in TBC, you can enter your full value of your RAM in here. It will automatically halve that, and that will definitely allow you better usage of point cloud data, viewing the data and working with data in there. Another thing that you can take a look at if you're working with surfaces from point clouds is obviously the maximum number of points in surface definition. So if you want to trim that a little bit down and you want to use a little bit less of the points, it will definitely help with the processing speed and how you view a surface. If there's a lot of points and you don't have to use all of them, you can see the same can be set for your volume measurement. So if you know you got way too many points and you don't need all those points to calculate a volume, especially on point clouds, there's an excess of points when it comes to surfaces. You can always dim this minimum down if you wanted to make life a bit easier on the processing side in your TBC. And then there is one for the spatial algorithm as well. So just a quick point when it comes to point clouds, some of the settings you can do to help you with processing and managing larger data sets in TBC. Just the product settings again, just highlighting again, that's the important one where you get all the stuff you need for TBC to be set up correctly for your project. This can also be saved to your profile, user profile. We'll get to that just now. So just and highlighting this, the importance of this, anything from your baseline processing settings, your computations, how you view stuff in TBC, the units that you're going to use, how many decimal places, all that kind of thing you will find in your project settings, and obviously setting your coordinate systems and everything that goes along with that. So important bit in TBC to utilize. Just go through all that coordinate system, how you change it. As I mentioned, if you go into the units bit, this is where you can actually change how you view your units, how you want to see them. You can actually set the decimal places for each individual one, like the lat long elevation, drilling zeros. You can decide, as you can see, plenty of information that you can change and update in TBC. Same for point spreadsheet if you want to view certain things. So this is your view options, how you view data in TBC. Anything and everything, as you can see, you can actually go and change. So when it is in a dark blue color, like you see over there, you can decide what you want to hide and not hide. So this is important, especially for guys looking for specific information. If you don't find it and you think TBC doesn't have it, well, go to your view settings and have a look and see what is available for you to unhide, because a lot of times there might be things that is actually hidden away that you can actually switch on and find the information that you need. Same for point tolerances. That's obviously when you look at your computation part of things, important that you make sure everything is within your project specifications. So this is where you can set them up and easily determine if a value of a certain measurement or point or a genesis vector is within the specifications for your project, and get a red flag to easily show you where there is problems. That goes for surfaces, as-staked, traverses, photogrammetry, all those settings you will find in the point tolerance section. And then just the one last bit, the default standard errors. If you need to set that up for network calculations, baselines, photogrammetry, leveling, all that kind of information. If you're using Trimble Access job files, this will automatically populate, as you can see over here. Turn on laser is L. There we go. That'll help. Imported files. So this will also always look at what you have imported. If it's a Trimble Access job file or a SiteWorks file, I'm pretty sure it will populate this into your source of standard errors. So that will know what kind of antenna you're using, total station you're using, and it will populate the standard errors correctly according to the hardware specification. If you're using third-party information, you will have to go and make sure that this is set to what you want to do in the project settings, and then you will have to just make sure you define them correctly here to ensure that you have a best accuracy possible when you're doing calculations. So that is an important bit if you're using third-party hardware. Just quick Project Explorer review. As we mentioned, How you view your project, all the information you will find on this side. You can just do the little drop downs to see exactly to the lowest value of that file what is available. And then your view filter manager, we'll touch on that a little bit more. In here, you see my filter. There is options to actually set up different kinds of view filters, and that helps especially when you want to hide and quickly unhide certain layers and elements in TBC. Setting up a view filter that shows you what you need is a quick way to quickly cycle through different views in TBC. Again, just touching on the customized ribbon part, we had a few questions about that. So customizing the ribbon or the quick access toolbar is all in one window. These are all the commands that you can always add by simply clicking that little icon when you highlighted one of these, and it will add it to wherever you are selected in your main tabs. You can create a new tab, as we mentioned on top there. So simply click on that and you will then get a new tab. And you can set up your own command tab if you want to. So if you know you're going to use a certain workflow with certain commands, you can actually just create a My Workflow tab and add all those relevant commands to you in one single tab. So you don't have to jump through all the tabs in TBC. And you can manipulate the tabs in TBC as well if you want to change it or minimize the amount of stuff you see in TBC. So customizing the ribbon and the quick access toolbar is an easy way for you to set up TBC so that it works for how you want to work and not how we think it should be working, which is always difficult because we have so many customers and everyone has their own quirks and preferences on how they would like TBC to be set up. So this allows you to do that. And as you can see, your import export options here, once you've done your changes, you can export it and save that and utilize it in any PC where you can sign in with your TID that we will talk about just now. Next one, the quick access toolbar. As I mentioned, if you want to make those icons larger, I showed you where there is. And again, if you customize it, you can add quick access commands here that you use a lot. So it's quick and easy for you to get to them. And then the user profile manager that I mentioned is in Trimble identity. So that is how you sign in. Once you've done that, that will allow you cloud access to your project user profile, where you can then save your options, your ribbon changes, your templates, and you can then find them easily by just signing in with that TID. So wherever you go, doesn't matter on which PC or laptop or where you install TBC, once you signed in with your user profile manager TID, you will always have access to all the customizations, templates that you saved, and everything that you require. That is also a way that you can share it with your guys in the office. So if somebody spends some time and customizes the ribbon according to what your office requirements are, you can always go and find these files and share them with each other in a mail or USB, whatever the way is, and everybody can use the same layout and same options in TBC. So that's a quick and easy way to get that done. And that is especially important, as Ben will talk a little bit about cleanup utility just now. So if you've done all these nice changes and you never save them, use the cleanup utility, you might find that you have to redo everything if you didn't save your customizations in there. User profile manager, where to find it. So it will be in the support tab or when you open up TBC for the first time. And then you will see your user options. You can select which one you want to save to local or save current. So local will be on your PC, current will be into the cloud, and you can select the one to open it up. Same with your ribbon, again, your local or into the cloud. And then project templates, everything will be in the cloud. You have to just save them to local to be able to see them in your local templates. Once you've done that, you will see you have the option to select which one you want to make your default option. So if you have a specific coordinate system that you work in regularly, let's say this Hot Pesuk one is the one that I use regularly, I just save it to local and then I just tick it on as default. So every time I open up a new project in TBC, that is the template it will use always when I create a new project. So I don't have to go do coordinate systems and everything like that in TBC. That is now Ben's turn.
Give me a minute to share my screen.
Sure.
think this is it. Oh, I'm technically challenged. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So first of all, I wanted to touch on the connected workspace. It's something new that we added back in 2023.10. What this is a feature that allows you to transfer data between TBC and Access and back from Access to TBC. I have here no more USB data transfer. That's the whole point of the connected workspace. Again, it's a feature within TBC. It's simply selecting that feature, that enhancement. It will reflect all the projects you have in TBC or in that Connect, and by selecting that command or that project, it'll allow you to transfer the data or share the data in that project, and then in Access, be able to link it in the layer manager, collect your data, then transfer the data back to TBC. So again, as long as you have Wi-Fi, you have the ability to transfer your data to and from TBC to Access and then back. I think I'm going to demonstrate that a little later, but I just wanted to touch on that because there's quite a few people that don't know this yet. And so I'm very happy to demonstrate it. Albert mentioned the cleanup utility. This is a feature, it's installed with TBC. What this feature does is it allows you to run the cleanup utility, and what it does is it basically wipes out everything TBC related, all the like coordinate system manager, trying to think what else. Yeah, it basically takes your PC and puts it back to before you install TBC. This is very critical if you're installing TBC for the, or if you're reinstalling TBC. If you have a updated TBC, you want to run this and then do your install. And if for some reason when you're installing TBC, there's, say you have a rough install, I would definitely recommend running the cleanup and then reinstalling. But Albert also mentioned the profile manager. User profile manager is critical for this. So if you have any settings for user options, your ribbon, project templates, those will get wiped out as well. So it's critical to back up those settings in your user profile manager before you run the cleanup utility. A couple other things I want to mention, just little things here and there. In 3D view, you do have the option to exaggerate the view. I just have here two examples of a surface. The surface up above, the view is almost at 1. If you hold Control Shift and then use your mouse wheel and scroll forward, it's going to exaggerate it higher. If you scroll the opposite direction, it's going to exaggerate it less. So the image on the bottom is exaggerated 4.7. I'm not sure how high you can go. It's pretty high, and you can go almost all the way to 0. I don't recommend it. It's graphics heavy, so but it really helps when you're working with surfaces, especially if the surfaces are very flat. Custom filters, I did touch on this last time, but I just wanted to reiterate that we have the option to create your own filter. With these filters, I might show this when I demonstrate. If I have a very busy project, like in plan view or 3D view, and have like aerial data, I have point clouds, I have LiDAR data, I have GNSS data. A lot of times when I'm looking at some of these large projects with a lot of data in it, what I'll do is I'll set up filters that will filter out, in this case, my aerial data. So I might filter out that point cloud that's generated from from the photogrammetry module, and then maybe also LiDAR data. So what it does is it simplifies the view, and it essentially just shuts off that all the layers that I assign to that filter. Albert, do you want to cover this?
Sure, I'll quickly run through Field Systems Help Portal. So just to make you guys aware of this, we launched a new Field Systems Help Portal. Let me quickly share my screen again.
Oh, sorry about that.
No problem. There we go. And I'll just jump to where we want to be. There we go. So Field Systems Help Portal, if you want to find anything related to not only TBC, but anything in the Field Systems environment for Trimble, the new Field Systems Help Portal is where you can find that information. I've just highlighted here the TBC part of it, but you will also find information relating to Trimble Access, Real Works, SiteWorks, SketchUp. I don't think SketchUp, can't remember the other ones, but there's a lot of hardware and software, Office software from the Field System side that you will find in here. As you can see, when you go into the TBC side of the Office software in the portal, you will get all the information that you require to getting started with TBC. Oops. The downloads. So as you can see, when I go into this, you will find the latest release download that you can find here. Anything relating to installation and licensing, you'll find all the information here. Getting started with TBC, if you want to go into the e-learning part or tutorials, you will find them in here. And then all the release notes, we are updating that as we go along. And then we are still working on this. We'll get into adding all the workflow documentation, technical documents, everything will be found in this one single spot. So if you're looking for anything TBC related, document-wise, technical document and help, this is the spot to go to. As Ben mentioned, when you go to downloads and the software utilities, you can find all the stuff in here, the Office cleanup utilities in there, the latest software, standalone utilities. So if you're just looking for the Coordinate System Manager or any of the standalone stuff, you can find it in here. Subscription licenses, services, and perpetual utilities, everything is in there. So that is a quick and easy way to find all your TBC help that you can find. Charlie, anything you want to add? All good. Sorry, just checking. And that goes to the live demo part. So let me quickly jump out of this and then get into TBC. And there we go. So in TBC, let's quickly, I just want to hide this. See if I can drag it across. There we go. Thank you very much. Okay, into TBC. So first things first, user profile manager, as I mentioned, you have to just make sure that you in TBC, logged into your TID. So at the top, this is where you will find the little button that you can log into. Once you've done that and you click on your user profile manager, you will get all the available options that you have saved previously for your stuff. As I mentioned, if you want to use any of the project templates, just remember to save that to local. As you can see, that has now been stored into my local templates. And now I have the option to set that to default or use it as I see fit. Easy as that. User options, again, just simply click on it, say OK, and it will upload your options that you saved in the user options. And the same for the ribbon. If you want to use that, simply click OK, and that will take it up there. You can save it onto the local desktop as well if you want to. So quick rundown of the user profile manager. If you want to customize the ribbon, just simply right click on the ribbon and there you can see your options to customize the ribbon. So we'll quickly go in there and just show you guys a few of the settings for there. Just got to quickly grab it from the other screen. There we go. So customize ribbon and quick access toolbar is all in one window for you to use. If you want to do the quick access toolbar, you can see these are the commands currently in your quick access toolbar. You can simply click and remove it if you want to by just removing it from there. Or if you want to add any command, and I like to always go zoom extends is one that I would like to add, simply add it in there and you can drag it up to the spot you want it in your quick access toolbar. So that's the way of doing that quickly. if you want to do any of the ribbon stuff, you will see the main ribbon, which is the home tab over there. That'll double click on this little 9 button dots here. That'll open up. And then you can go into each of the subheaders there, data exchange, view, and data. Each of them you will find there. And underneath you will find each individual command. If you want to, let's say something like device pane is something you would like to enlarge and you don't like it to be such a small icon, you want to make it a bit bigger, simply click on the edit button or modify button. And then we just got to go this side again. And there we go. There you have the option. As you can see, the preferred size is set to default. So that is what we wanted. You can always go and change it to normal or large. So as soon as you make it large, that will then make that device pane a large and the minimum ribbon size will be there. And if we go to OK, that should then make that device a larger icon. So that's a quick and easy way to do that. Customize the ribbon quickly again. If you want to hide anything, so let's say for us, we are not going to look at anything tunnel related. It is a simple button of just hiding that. That way, if you do that, now you'll see it has removed it completely, that whole tab from the ribbon. Same then goes into specific commands that you want to change. Oh, why do you always go to the other screen? Just my luck. There we go. There we go. And then if you want to hide specific commands, you just need to go into that specific command and let's say write to that one you don't want to see, simply click that and it will hide it from your ribbon for you. So you can individually go and do larger sections like the whole GNSS section. So if we go into survey, you will see the GNSS one. If you never use GNSS, you can always hide that whole section with all the commands underneath, or you can hide individual commands by simply clicking on them and hiding them. So a quick and easy way to manage your ribbon, set it up the way you like it, and obviously not have everything that TBC offers. If you don't have the license for everything, you shouldn't see that in any case, but you can manipulate it the way you want. And if you want to, you can add your own tab as well by simply creating a new tab. You can then give it names, edit it, modify it, and add commands to the specific one. You can set it up like we've done here, a data exchange with your commands or a view. That all just goes by adding new groups and commands to each of those tabs. Import and export, that is where you obviously make sure you save all these once you've done it. And if you have it saved to your TID, you will always have the option to import them once you've done the cleanup utility, as Ben mentioned. That will remove all these settings and you can simply just import them and have your ribbon layout correctly set up the way you like it. Anything I missed about that, guys? I think I got through the gist of it. Okay. I'll just quickly do the support tab. So important little bit is the support tab. So this is where you find everything TBC related when it comes to how do I learn or how do I find help with for TBC. So very important is the help section. This has got all and everything relating to TBC, how you work with commands, what you do with commands. The nice thing about it is, I'll show you just now, if you have a specific command open, you hit the F1 key on your keyboard, TBC help will open up with that specific command information for you. So you don't have to go find it in the help, simply select the command. And once you have the command open, the F1 key would allow you to find that in the help without you struggling to go through everything. Tutorials, easy way to find some sample data sets and workflows that you need to do on your PC. And on the e-learning side, if you don't want to tie up a license or you don't have a high enough end spec machine to train on, you can always use the e-learning environment with the virtual machines where you can then go try out, let's say, photogrammetry processing. If you want to see if that's worth your while, you can always go use that e-learning option there for photogrammetry to see how it works, because TBC will then allow you to have a full license in there to work with. And you don't have to tie up a production machine or license in your office. Question we get in every power hour: is that recorded and where can I find them? there's the button. Simply click on Power Hour button, and that will open up the web page where we have all the Power Hours since 2016 stored and accessible to you to go view again if you want to review any of the stuff we've done. Then the resources, just the stuff that you can find here, the release notes, community, macro community, the YouTube channel, where we upload videos just showing you the latest workflows that we add for a new release. The geospatial website, construction website can be found there. Customization part, if you don't know where to go for this, there is all the different buttons that you can find to set the ribbons, the custom ribbon, default command, shortcuts, your options, and your user profile manager all sits nicely in there. Your viewing tools, and then important, the license manager. That is always something that pops up now and again. I'll just quickly select mine. So if you want to find out when your maintenance expires, what version you're using, and your key ID, which is an important bit if you want to get support for TBC, this is where you go into to find all that information. So license manager, always a good thing to know where it is relating to all the TBC information for your license and so forth. And then check for updates if you want to make sure you've got the latest version of TBC and you want to update, especially Coordinate System Manager. We do update that quite regularly. Please make sure that you check that to make sure you've got the latest Coordinate System Manager and other updates for TBC. That runs through what I wanted to show there. I'll just quickly do a new project and just want to run through. I'll leave the connected workspace to Ben. I'll just show you the import export options in TBC because that's something that also popped up. What can we import and export out of TBC? So import, two options. You can simply drag and drop your information from the file explorer in Windows and it will import the data. If you want to go a little bit more, have control over what you see, this is where you can actually then go into a specific folder. So let me quickly go into something that I have here that we can look at. So let's go into this one and let's say, we'll just go into there. If you do it this way, you will now see TBC will automatically detect which files it recognizes and what you can then import is easily found that way. So there you can see it shows you exactly what kind of file type it is and what it can pick up. So you can simply click on it. It will give you the information and import it that way as well. So if you want to see if TBC can import a specific file type, just go select the folder where you have it, and you can actually then go and view and see if TBC recognizes any of this and what kind of file it is. So that's a quick and easy way to look at how to import information into TBC. We do have the import format editor as well. So I'll just quickly click on that. This is where you can actually set up some default import options. So if I just click onto that control one, you can see that's not going to work with this file type. None of these will actually work. But what this allows you to do is you can actually see a preview of the data. And if you need to, you can move around the columns to make sure it fits. So let's say your file that you got is actually point northern easting elevation. You will be able to see that in the import preview. And when you go to the next button, you will actually be allowed to move the columns around just to make sure they line up according to your data. So you don't have to go into the CSV file or whatever file it is and go change the column, save it again, then bring it back to import. In TBC, we allow you to actually move the columns around to make sure it fits to your data. You can preview it to see if it's correct and then only do the import. You can also create new import types if you want to. So if you go in there, we create a new import and we want to edit that. Let's just do it as a test one and go next. Now you can actually tell it what kind of file type it would be. In there, you can then tell it what would the delimiter be. So you have control over exactly where it will be stored. You can give it the default extension type that it would be, text qualifier, how many lines to skip. So if you've got a certain amount of header lines before you want to import data, all this can be done, what kind of quality it is. If you go into next, you can then add all the fields that you want to. So as you can see, you simply add point ID, let's say easting, and then you can still work on how it will work, what kind of data it is. And then when you go to finish, it will save that import so you can actually then tell it what information you want and where you want to save it. Is it possible to into a specific layer? Yes, it is. So there we go. If you go in there, you can actually tell it one of those ones you want to go, but not a specific layer. It's easy to move it into a layer once you've done that, if you have that information there. That's the importer quickly. Anything else to mention there, guys? Happy with that quick rundown? Okay, and then the last one I want to quickly touch on, or second last one before I get to Ben, the export. So if you want to have a look at all the different export types, this is the kind of view you'll get from TBC. So each tab has this related files for that kind of workflow environment. So point clouds, you will see these are all the options that we currently have, how you want to export the files, into which format, and then you still have the options of how you want to define the file format, you sample it, export the scaling, everything related to that. You go into corridors. That's a complete list of the stuff that we have in corridors, with all the settings. Custom is just the normal CSV kind of type export you have. If you created a new one, you will see it there as well. GIS, that's all the different GIS options we currently have. For survey, this is where you find all the current survey types, Rhinex exporter, Trimble Access job file exporter, XML files all in there. CAD, these are all the different CAD options that we have for you to export with all the settings. And then in construction, I think the one I wanted to show you was LAD XML is one we use quite a lot, as well as the Site Vision AR exporter. Somebody asked, is Connect only for Trimble Access? Nope, it's not only for Trimble Access. If you have Site Vision, that's another way you can send data to that unit, is through Connect. So you can use the Site Vision AR exporter and your data would be exported into Connect for your Site Vision access on your devices. So these are some of them, TTM and VCL Project Link Explorers, where you find all this. So that's a quick rundown. And then at the bottom, Ben will explain the two different options of how to export your data, but I'll leave that to you, Ben. You can run through that in a bit when connected workspace. And then just the last one I wanted to share is the publish scan data. So this is where you can export your data that you scanned from an X series, from an SX12, mobile mapping data, I think can do that as well, and any third-party scan data. If you want to send that to Connect for your clients to be able to view it, or if you want to then use the new Trimble Reality Capture platform service and you want to view your 3D data, this is the way you can publish the data into Trimble Connect. So Trimble Connect is not only there to just send and receive job files and work orders from the field, you can also use it for clients to view in the Connect project viewer. So this is where you can do it, and you can then send the scan data as well as any panos and images that was taken also be published this way. And TBC is the only way at the moment that you can actually publish panoramas from a scanner into the Connect environment. So this is the way that you can share scan data to a client that doesn't have the knowledge or the software to view point clouds and images from scanners. Publish scan data is the way to do it, and then utilize Connect and share that link with the client, and they can view the data in there. With that, I'll send it over to Ben to just quickly touch on the connected workspace and the stuff we have in there.
Excellent. Thanks, Albert. All right. So yes, the connected workspace. As I mentioned, this is a new feature. Just what I want to touch on is a basic workflow that you would anticipate for maybe not every workflow, but for the full round trip of data. So the idea is to send data, the design data from TBC to Access, and then collect the data out in the field, and then bring that data back in. I know back when I was working in the field, most likely we collected all the data in the field and just transferred that to TBC using a USB stick. If we had to bring design files into Access, same deal. Put that on a USB drive from our PEC, plug that into our TSC7, pull that into the file structure, and then you could link that in. So the whole process is, as I mentioned, very simple. In TBC, I have my project, I have my design file. Here I have an IFC. What I want to do is transfer this to Connect, and in Connect, I'm going to link. Oops, I went too fast. So what I want to do in TBC is I want to export my IFC. So my IFC under the CAD option, just like I normally would export an IFC or any design file, CSV, DWG, DXF. I select the IFC. In this case, I'm just going to window it. And then I go to the remote save. Again, this is relatively new. Maybe 3 versions back, we implemented it. But the remote save opens up the connected workspace dialog. I have a project in Connect. It's called Power Hour 2. I'm going to open that. And I don't have any data in Connect here, so you don't see anything. So I'm just going to save that IFC to my Connect project. Now, if I go into, let me close that, go into Connect. Let's see. If I go into Connect, I'm just going to refresh. Go to my Power Hour 2. As you can see now, this was blank. Now I have Power Hour 2 IFC. So I'm going to go into my project in Access. Here, I kind of jumped ahead. Here I have some point cloud data. There's some total station observations in there. But what I want to do is I want to link that map file, so that IFC, into my project out in the field. Most likely this would be brought in before the job started. Maybe I'd have a CSV file I want to bring in. So in this case, with the layer manager that you find here in Access, what I want to do to link the file in. So again, I'm linking the file in. I'm not going to be importing this file. I simply hit add. And now in Access, this is also relatively new, there's the connect option. So what that's going to do is it's going to connect to my Connect project. And I now have the option for my IFC file. So select that IFC file, hit select. It's going to download it. And now in the layer manager under map files, I have my Power Hour 2 IFC. If I have point files, so if I have an IFC, a CSV file in that same Connect project, I would also have a CSV file. So simply, again, I'm selecting my IFC. As you can see down in the bridge area, I can turn it on and off. So I want to hit accept. So now that this IFC file is linked. So if there's 5 other guys working on the same project, same location, they all link it the same way, they're going to see the same IFC file. It's not imported into my Access project or my job file. So again, if it's a CSV file, we're all working from the same CSV control point file. There's no confusion who has the most updated, who doesn't. If that CSV file is modified in the office and saved remote again into Connect, there's going to be a notification in Access alerting everybody that that IFC file, IFC or the CSV file has been updated. The field guys get the option. Well, they don't really have an option. They hit OK, and it's going to import that that linked CSV file. So in this case, I'm doing a bunch of work. I have again, in the office, I have my TBC project, just that IFC file. Now I want to take this back to TBC. So with that job file, I simply need to change the status of this project to fieldwork complete. What that's going to do is it's going to sync that job file to Connect. So now if I close this or minimize that, open up Connect, I do refresh, and I go to, oh, okay, it's not linked. I need to turn on the field data option. Strange that it's not linked, or it's not in. So now when I open the field data file, honestly, I don't actually know where this project is. I think it's in Germany, but it should show here. If I show the to-dos, you're going to see the job file that's there as well. In the field data, that job, let me turn that on. That'll probably help. And recently, the Connect team has updated Trimble Connect to enhance the field data options in Connect. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not really sure where that project is. But as you can see, the properties, I got fieldwork complete here. It's got all the information that is associated with that project. If there's a feature code, FXL linked to that project and access, it would show up what was linked there as well. But if I go into TBC, and again, I'm looking at the IFC that was linked into my project and access, I can now go to connected workspace. And this is going to open up, once again, the same files, the same projects that are in access. And as you can see here on the left, have a jobs option. So as the fieldwork's completed, if we have multiple projects or multiple jobs that were collected, you would see a list of projects here or jobs. In this case, I just have one job file to import. I hit the import option. What it's going to do is it's going to import that job file. So it's downloading all the point data, the point cloud data. I may have picked the wrong job file because it's got quite a few scan stations in there. But what it's doing is it's essentially replacing a USB drive. So in the field, if I download all that data to a USB drive, take it all the way back to the office or take it back to the hotel or home or whatever, download that from the USB drive, email it to the office. You're kind of taking a lot of time to transfer that data, and there's a lot of room for lost data, losing the data collector. So there's a lot of variables in there that can that do fall into the possibility of losing data. By doing it this way through the connected workspace, it's importing that job. Once I'm connected to Wi-Fi, and the person in the field is able to process that data within, as you can see, this has probably been about 30 seconds. And come on. All right, here we go. I'm not going to colorize this. It'll take a little more time. And now in my TBC project, you can now see I have the point clouds that were entered or imported. I can now process this data, treat it like I would if I imported it through a USB drive. So that's the basic workflow, the round trip of data from TBC, taking my design file, transferring it to Connect, in Access, link that design file into my job file, do my work, sync it to Connect, and then in TBC, import that file. So as far as, wrong project. So as far as the exporting option, the remote save, that's been implemented in all the options here for exporting. One word of caution, as far as exporting point clouds, you can export those point clouds to Connect, but in Access, you can't open them. Some of these files you just can't open in Access, even if you attempt to link those files in, but you are able to export these to your Connect project. Again, point clouds, some of these are, I imagine some of you all have extremely large point clouds. Might take time because it's all relative to your Wi-Fi connection, but any file that you find in the export dialog is exportable through this remote save um, to Connect, or to your project in Connect. That's basically the connected workspace.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate that.
Anything else to demo?
I just think Charlie, I wanted to quickly grab Charlie in there and just look at project cleanup. I think it's something that is a good thing to show a bit to the people. Charlie, if you can jump in there with project cleanup stuff and just we all receive files from engineers and architects and designers and everything, and it's always a hack trying to figure out which layers and which lines and how to clean them up and everything. So Charlie will delve into a little bit into what can be done in TBC, how to make that a bit easier when you have large files from designers and engineers that you need to clean up a little bit. Got your screen.
Can you hear me? Okay, so project cleanup, really helpful tool. It can clean up a whole lot of the artifacts when bringing in data from Autodesk products and or other authoring products. But the real short and sweet of it is, if you see what my settings are currently, this is what I call the safe settings. No data will be really edited or changed, or basically this is just cleaning up any sort of unused CAD objects and definitions, and then does a little bit of line work cleanup, removes any duplicate lines, overlapping line loops, which is basically where it kind of zigzags over itself. You wouldn't see that. You would see it maybe vertically, but it would be invisible to you in plan view. And then text objects and hatch objects just get cleaned up. The other features that I have turned off are turned off just so that when you run this configuration, you can run it on entire project and no data will get, I guess, deleted. So that you don't have any sort of mystery line edits happening. And so those line edits that I'm talking about are when you start to turn on some of these other things. If you this one's actually probably pretty safe too, because all it does is remove any sort of lines at a certain distance or shorter. So right now it would be 0.061 meters and smaller. Any of those lines that are line segments that are that short or shorter would be removed from your project. The kind of the opposite of that is any sort of gaps that are found between lines. If you set that at the same, you could then join those. So if you kind of had short segments and long segments all as part of a line, you kind of clean that up and create one whole continuous line by kind of using these settings as a pair. The one thing with that is if there are VPIs defined on the lines, on some lines and not others, some of those lines might adopt those elevations, and that may not be what you're expecting. So just take a look at the vertical elements of the lines before you do this, and maybe you go with the current selection. So that would be before you open this command, you select the objects you want to run these cleanup objects on, or cleanup operations on, and then you would pick current selection, and it would only run it on the things you've selected rather than the entire, like all of the objects in your project. Similarly, the other thing to watch out for is filter line vertices. This one I only use on contours because contours are a single elevation. You're not going to run into any issues. Where I found this giving me unexpected results as a user in the past was if I had defined back of curve curvature. If I set this radius small enough, or sorry, large enough, it would remove maybe my high point or my low point to those back curves because they fell outside of this filtering radius. And so that's the kind of issues that I'm talking about. where you get unexpected results. It's certainly not doing anything wrong. I told it to do that, but that's not what I wanted it to do. So again, with filter line vertices, I do this mostly if I'm creating surfaces and the surfaces are too dense, too many triangles, and so to reduce some of those vertices on the contours that are in the surface would reduce the number of triangles, right? That's one instance where I've used that. So again, if you use that as current selection, select all your contours, it will remove a whole bunch of those zigzaggy, I mean, they tend to have tons and tons of horizontal nodes on them. And so cleaning up a few of them doesn't really change the overall topography of the model that you're trying to create there, and just kind of reduces the number of vertices you're going to have in your surface. And then this elevation range one, there's nothing really wrong with that, but sometimes I like to have control over any sort of elevation changes, right? And so I only do this when I specifically intend to change elevations. Otherwise, I kind of don't want to touch anything with elevation, which is why I have, by default, again, the safe setting is this one here. And then while I've got the mic, I wanted to talk about a different workflow. Actually, you know what? I shut down that project. Let me give it back to y'all, and then I'll answer a different question that's totally unrelated to that when we get a minute here. Let me open up a different project.
All good, John. You can open up the project there while we quickly see. Ben, anything you want to specifically answer from the Q&A section? I see there's a few things that popped up. Anything you want to highlight that you've run through?
Sure. A couple real quick questions. There's a question about 2025 or 2025 release for this year. Not to confuse things, we are now, our first release is going to be 2025.10. In the past, it would have been 2025.00. There's some issues with iOS format where we can't release something with a .0. So we're now going, and this is mostly TA related. Now our first release is going to be 2025.10, and that is scheduled for July. So hopefully we have everything lined up, and it looks like everything's going well as far as the development process goes. So expect something maybe middle of July. Again, I can't put a specific, or I can't guarantee that date, but that's what we're shooting for. So we have an extended development timeline. We're hoping to develop some pretty amazing stuff. At least for me, I think it's pretty awesome. But yeah, it's extended time period, and yeah, expect something in July. I do want to also throw out that we have a patch coming out soon. Right now it's scheduled for the end of April. Again, another thing I can't guarantee is going to be in April, but expect a patch coming out soon. So let's see.
Thanks,
Oh, there was a question earlier last time, a month ago, about Rhinex 4.0. We just released Rhinex 4.0. You can only convert T04 files. I'm not sure if that's going to change to include T02 files, but Rhinex 4.0 has been released. I think if you do check for updates in TBC, you'll find that. If not, as Albert mentioned, on the help portal, you should be able to go to the utilities, I believe it's there, and find the download for that. If it isn't there, this came out yesterday, so if it isn't there, it'll get up there soon.
Cool. Thanks, Ben. Charlie, got that project up and going? Okay.
Yep. Let me just finish up some things real quick and share my screen. Okay, so there was a question. Does everybody see my screen? I can't tell.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, great. There was a question, is there a zoom to project or zoom to a layer feature here? So in View Filter Manager, there's isolate layer. And then if you just, this is only looking at my plan view here, so let me dock that real quick. If you just click on any individual layer as you've got it set up here, even if it's turned off by default on your filter that you've chosen, you can basically zoom to each of those individual layers and it will only show those layers. The only way I would, I don't know, did I lose audio here? Am I still?
Nope, you're still good. Just a little bit for 1-2 seconds.
Or anything. And so I think that's just what, and so I think that's what we're talking about here. If it's something else, go ahead and throw another comment in.
Okay. Just quick one, Charlie. I see a few questions about Civil 3D and TBC. How much is that interportability working at the moment? Any specific things that you will highlight if anybody is transferring data from Civil 3D into TBC using land XML or XML files? Anything to watch out for, stuff that might cause a bit of a hiccup in that process?
Yeah, I guess there's always going to be some loss of data when you're going from one proprietary software to another. Land XML is fairly universal, but it kind of dumbs down some stuff as well. So you know, sometimes you'll see everything come out on the zero layer all as one color. So you know, Land XML isn't always the greatest as a universal transfer mechanism. It's great for sharing surfaces and alignments and those types of things. But I would say perhaps, at least in my experience, DWGs tend to have a bit more of the data richness, retaining layers and colors and all that sort of stuff. Though it's never absolutely perfect going from one software to another there.
Okay. All good. Thanks,
And
guys.
then one other thing I wanted to show real quick was on a cut fill map. Just two things. So when you generate a cut fill map, it starts out looking a bit harsh. So if you just select that, go to color mapping, and if you hover over these different dividers, you can delete them and you get a much smoother transition here. And then the other thing for visualization purposes is I like to change the transparency down to like 30% if I've got other data that I want to show, like I still want to see the PDF behind the cut fill map and so forth. So that was just a little tip and trick that I wanted to throw in about cut fill maps. And then one other thing on surfaces, finished design. I've got my slope arrows turned on. So if you're curious about drainage, that is a very quick way to visualize it. It's in surface properties. And then if I can find it here, show slope arrows either in plan view or in 3D view or both. So it's just right here in the surface properties. And that way you can kind of see where your drainage is on a given surface. That's all I had.
Thanks, Charlie. Again, guys, we had quite a few other things we could show and wanted to show and wanted to get to and ran out of time again. For some other reason, we keep doing that. So want to say thank you for your time. Appreciate it. We'll definitely run through. There's still a few of the Q&A section stuff that we didn't get to. We do get a report of this and we'll reach out to guys that we didn't get answers to. We'll try and get some answers to you guys via email. If you've got that registered up there, we'll get there. So thanks so much. Appreciate the time for everyone. Ben, Charlie, thank you for your time and your input in this. And then hope to see everyone again on the next Power Hour end of April. Thank you, guys. Have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be. And hope to catch you on the next Power Hour. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks
Have a good day.